Hello friends, in this session we discuss about hypersensitivity. What is hypersensitivity? The immune response mounts a reaction against all the foreign antigens. Generally, the immune response responds in such a manner that the quantity of response is proportionate to the amount of antigen coming from outside. सो जितना एंटीजन आया बॉडी में उसको डिस्ट्रॉय करने के लिए जितना भी रिस्पॉन्स चाहिए उतना वो इम्यून सिस्टम रिस्पॉन्ड करता है और वंस द एंटीजन गेट्स डिस्ट्रॉय देन द रिस्पॉन्स डिसअपियर्स एंड थिंग्स आर बैक टू नॉर्मल. So generally the immune response to any antigen is in proportion, in a normal quantity. But whenever the response to antigens is exaggerated, it is known as hypersensitivity. So say for example, if 10 units of response is required for eliminating the antigen, the immune system will respond 50 units or 100 units. So this excessive response of the immune system, it will then start causing damage to the host tissues. And damage to the host tissues will be caused because of this, and this kind of reaction is known as hypersensitivity reaction. Now hypersensitivity reactions are basically of 4 types: type 1, 2, 3 and 4, and newer types, that is type 5 and type 6, have also been documented in the recent editions. Primarily these 4 types are there. The type 1 hypersensitivity reaction is IgE mediated hypersensitivity reaction. In this reaction, antigen induces cross-linking of IgE molecules on the mast cell surface, leading to degranulation of mast cells and release of vasoactive amines and other mediators from the mast cells. And examples of this condition are systemic anaphylaxis, local anaphylaxis such as hay fever, asthma, food allergies and eczema. So type 1 hypersensitivity reaction is IgE mediated. Type 2 hypersensitivity reaction is IgG or IgM mediated. Type 3 hypersensitivity reaction is immune complex disease, and type 4 is cell mediated immunity. So type 1 is IgE mediated, that we saw just now. Type 2 IgG or IgM mediated hypersensitivity, cytotoxic hypersensitivity. It is called cytotoxic hypersensitivity because cells are destroyed in this process. Antibody directed against cell surface antigens mediates cell destruction by the method of complement activation or ADCC, and examples of this condition include blood transfusion reactions, erythroblastoma fetalis, autoimmune hemolytic anemias. Type 3 hypersensitivity is immune complex mediated. In this condition, antigen antibody complexes are formed. They get deposited in various tissues, and wherever this antigen antibody complex they are deposited, inflammatory reaction starts at this site, and there is a lot of destruction of the host tissues in and around that site. And typical manifestations include localized Arthur's reaction, a generalized reaction such as serum sickness, necrotizing vasculitis, glomerulonephritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and systemic lupus erythematosus. Type 4 hypersensitivity reaction is cell-mediated immune response. In this response, the T helper cells they get activated. The helper T cells will stimulate the macrophages and other cytotoxic cells, and accumulation of macrophages and other cells in and around the antigen will lead to granuloma formation. This kind of immune response is delayed immune response. Cell-mediated hypersensitivity is a delayed type of hypersensitivity, and examples of this condition include contact dermatitis, tubercular lesions, and graft rejection. Now just note that type 1, 2 and 3 are all immediate types of hypersensitivity, and type 4 is delayed type of hypersensitivity. Type 1, that is IgE mediated. Type 2, that is IgG or IgM mediated cell cytotoxicity, and type 3, that is immune complex mediated. All these are immediate type of hypersensitivity reactions, and type 4, that is cell mediated, is delayed type of hypersensitivity reaction. Now let us have a look at all the 4 categories in detail. Type 1 hypersensitivity reaction is anaphylactic type, immediate hypersensitivity reaction resulting from release of pharmacologically active mediators. Here in this figure, B cells are shown and T helper cells are shown. The allergen or the antigen which is leading to type 1 hypersensitivity reaction, it will bind with the antibodies on the surface of the B cells, and even the helper T cells will activate the B cells, and once activated the B cells will give rise to memory cells and plasma cells. The plasma cells will form antibodies. The IgE antibodies formed by the plasma cells, they will go and bind on the surface of the mast cells, and the allergen will come and bind with these IgE on the surface of the mast cells. So the final picture is a mast cell with IgE coupled with the antigen on its surface, and this binding on the surface of the mast cells will activate the mast cells, and from these mast cells various mediators of inflammation will be released, and they will spread in the tissues, in smooth muscles, mucous glands, blood vessels, etc., and lead to hypersensitivity type 1 reaction. Now, how does the mast cell get activated? Let us have a look at this. This is a mast cell. Antigen has bound to IgE on the surface of the mast cell, and because of this binding, three types of signals are released in the mast cell. The first signal is signal for degranulation. The second signal is signal for cytokine gene activation. The third signal is signal for activation of phospholipase A2. In the first signal for degranulation of mast cell, so granules inside the mast cells, they will release their contents. Histamine, proteases, chemotactic factors, all these will be released from the granules in the mast cells. These are known as primary mediators of inflammation. The second signal is signal for cytokine gene activation, which will lead to formation of cytokines. The third signal is signal for activation of phospholipase A2, leading to membrane phospholipid formation, which gives rise to platelet activating factor and arachidonic acid. Arachidonic acid will give rise to prostaglandins and leukotrienes, and these are secondary mediators of inflammation. So you can see here that the allergen has bound to IgE on the surface of the mast cell, and because of this binding, the mast cell gets activated and it releases plenty of mediators of inflammation in the surrounding, because of which there is lot of inflammatory reaction in that area. There are several agents in the environment which can act as antigens, leading to type 1 hypersensitivity reaction, like various foods like eggs, nuts, seafoods, milk, plant pollen grains, grass, leaves, drugs like penicillin, sulfonamides, then venoms, dust mites, latex, various vaccines. Lots of substances can act as type 1 hypersensitivity reagent, because any person can be allergic to anything. So if one substance, say for example grass, this grass is not allergic to lot of people, but it is allergic to some of the people, so that grass is an allergen for those people. It produces type 1 hypersensitivity reaction in susceptible people. Similarly, there will be some people who have susceptibility to nuts, then they will produce type 1 hypersensitivity reaction against the nuts. Some people might be susceptible to milk, they will not be able to tolerate milk, and they will produce immediate hypersensitivity reaction towards milk. Like that, there are lots of antigens in nature, and any antigen can lead to hypersensitivity reaction in anybody who is susceptible to it. The same antigen will not give rise to reaction in some person, but it will give rise to a reaction in another person. The various mediators of inflammation in type 1 hypersensitivity reaction, the primary mediators including histamine, heparin, serotonin, eosinophil chemotactic factor and neutrophil chemotactic factor, and proteases. And the secondary mediators include platelet activating factor, leukotrienes, prostaglandins, bradykinins, and various cytokines. All these mediators, someone will increase vascular permeability, some will do smooth muscle contraction, some will cause chemotaxis, some will increase Ig production, some will cause platelet aggregation, etc. So primary and secondary, two types of mediators are released in type 1 hypersensitivity reaction as a result of activation of mast cells. And mast cells are activated because IgE on their surface binds with allergen. Systemic type 1 hypersensitivity reaction includes anaphylactic shock, in that labored breathing occurs, drop in blood pressure, smooth muscle contraction, bronchial constriction can occur, suffocation occurs. And localized examples are hay fever, asthma, food allergies, and atopic dermatitis. Urticaria, asthma, hay fever, and insect allergies, these are all included in type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. To determine which allergen is responsible for this hypersensitivity, skin test can be performed, and in that skin test, various antigens are tested to see that person is susceptible to which antigen is leading to type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. Asthma is an example of type 1 hypersensitivity, allergic asthma. Hay fever is another example. Allergic rhinitis, in which red, itchy, watery eyes are there, sneezing, congestion, runny nose is there, a sore throat may be there, cough may be there. This is also an example of type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. Some people are susceptible to pollen grains. So when they are exposed to pollen grains, they will develop rhinitis, allergic rhinitis. That is an example of type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. There will be several other people around them, they will not be susceptible, so they will not produce any kind of hypersensitivity reaction. Urticaria, angioneuritic edema, these are also examples of type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. To detect IgE detection is done to identify type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. And for determining IgE presence in the patient's serum, two kinds of tests are used, RIST and RAST, radio immunosorbent test and radio allergosorbent test. In both these tests, presence of IgE in the patient's serum is determined. If the IgE is present, it indicates that person is suffering from type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. Type 2 hypersensitivity reaction is cytotoxic, in that cells are damaged, cells are destroyed because of hypersensitivity. Three kinds of mechanisms are demonstrated: complement dependent reactions, antibody dependent cell mediated cytotoxicity, and antibody mediated cellular dysfunction. In complement dependent reactions, transfusion reactions, erythroblastosis fetalis, autoimmune hemolytic anemia, and certain drug reactions are included. In antibody dependent cell cytotoxicity, graft rejection and destruction of big targets like parasites or tumors. In antibody mediated cellular dysfunction, myasthenia gravis, in which muscle weakness is there, and Graves' disease in hyperthyroidism, these are examples of antibody mediated cellular dysfunction in type 2 hypersensitivity. Now in this figure, an RBC is shown which has its surface receptors, surface antigens on its surface. These surface antigens of the RBC, they bind with the corresponding antibody, and this antigen-antibody complex activates the complement system on one hand, and at the same time it activates the macrophages. Now the activated macrophages will then digest this complex. The complex RBC के सरफेस पे एंटीजन, उसके ऊपर एंटीबॉडी और उसके ऊपर कॉम्प्लीमेंट, तो ये पूरा जो कॉम्प्लेक्स बनता है, इस कॉम्प्लेक्स को मैक्रोफेज डाइजेस्ट करता है. तो दिस वे द टारगेट सेल गेट्स डिस्ट्रॉयड. दिस इज कॉम्प्लीमेंट डिपेंडेंट cell cytotoxicity. In another figure, antibody dependent cell cytotoxicity is shown. A target cell with antigen on its surface, antibody will bind with the target cell. So antigen antibody complex on the target cell is formed, and this complex is identified by the natural killer cells, and natural killer cells will destroy the target cell after identifying this antigen antibody complex on its surface. So this is called antibody dependent cell cytotoxicity. A third category, that is anti-receptor antibodies. Acetylcholine on the neuromuscular junction, the acetylcholine is released and it will go and bind with the acetylcholine receptors on the muscular end. Generally this happens, but when there are antibodies formed against the acetylcholine receptors, these antibodies will bind with the acetylcholine receptors and prevent the acetylcholine from binding with its corresponding receptor, because of which the neuromuscular transmission of signal will not be able to take place, and because of this neuromuscular transmission will be hampered and muscular weakness will occur. This occurs in myasthenia gravis. In myasthenia gravis, antibodies against the acetylcholine receptors are formed. These antibodies, they will bind with the acetylcholine receptors and prevent the acetylcholine from binding with the corresponding receptors and transmitting the neuromuscular signal. Examples of type 2 hypersensitivity include transfusion reactions, complement mediated lysis and ABO blood group antigens में होता है. Drug induced hemolytic anemias occurs when antibiotic forms a complex with red blood cell membrane protein, induces formation of antibodies, and complement also participates in that, and hemolytic disease of the newborn. Now here in this figure, how does hemolytic disease of the newborn occur is shown. In the newborn, in the first pregnancy, the child, if it is Rh positive, then its RBCs will be having the Rh antigens on their surface. But if the mother is Rh negative, then what happens that during the first pregnancy, the Rh positive RBCs of the child will reach up to the placenta, and from the placenta, the mother's circulation, the mother's immune system will identify these Rh positive RBCs, and this signal will reach in the immune system of the mother, and she will form antibodies against these Rh antigens of the child's RBC. So during the first pregnancy, identification and recognition of the Rh antigens on the RBC surface is done by the mother's immune system. So during the first pregnancy, the mother's immune system does not cause any damage to the child, but it just identifies and prepares memory cells and antibodies against the Rh antigens of the child's RBC. In the subsequent pregnancy, if again the child is Rh positive, then its Rh antigens will reach the placenta. The mother's immune system will identify that this is the same antigen that came across previously. So the mother's immune system had formed memory cells. It will now release lots of antibodies. These lots of antibodies will cross the placenta and reach the child's circulation, and they will go and bind with the Rh antigens on the child's RBC and leading to destruction of the child's RBC, which leads to hemolytic anemia. So in subsequent pregnancies, the children will have a risk of hemolytic anemia. But the first pregnancy, only sensitization takes place. On the subsequent pregnancies, the consequences will take place. But if the mother's immune system, the treatment is given, the Rh solution is given, then the mother's immune system will not be activated against the child's antigen, and we can prevent this reaction in the subsequent children. That is, for that matter, treatment is given to the Rh negative mother, so that the immune system of the mother does not mount a response against the Rh antigens of the child. Type 3 hypersensitivity reaction is known as immune complex mediated. Arthur's reaction, serum sickness, and collagen diseases are included in this. Toxic complex diseases like necrotizing meningitis, rheumatoid arthritis, dermatomyositis, and systemic lupus erythematosus, acute glomerulonephritis, these are also included in type 3 hypersensitivity reaction. Symptoms may be fever, weakness, rashes, and many other symptoms. Antigens enter the bloodstream. The antigens will bind with their corresponding antibodies, and this antigen-antibody complex will go and deposit in some places in the circulation. And wherever this complex goes and deposit, the immune system cells will start coming there. The immune system cells will start inflammatory process. In this figure, a blood vessel is shown. The antigens are there in the blood vessel, and antibodies are binding with the antigen. So immune complex formation takes place. In the second figure, the immune complex gets deposited somewhere in the blood vessel. And in the third phase, because of the deposition of the antigen antibody complex, inflammatory reactions appears, neutrophils come there, and all process of inflammation takes place at that site. This is called immune complex or type 3 hypersensitivity reaction. Now, complement initiates mast cell degranulation. The neutrophils are chemotactically attracted, and all this process of inflammation takes place. Mediators are released, and hypersensitivity reaction takes place at the site where the immune complex got deposited. Necrosis can take place, vasodilatation, edema occurs, neutrophil aggregation takes place, and necrosis of the tissue can take place where the antigen antibody complex got deposited. So as such, antigen and antibody reaction keep taking place in the body, and normally the body eliminates these complexes and the person remains healthy. But when hypersensitivity reaction is taking place, it can lead to inflammatory reaction at the site and necrosis of the tissue where that antigen antibody complex got deposited. This is a photo. Immune complex vasculitis. The necrotic vessel wall is replaced by smudgy pink fibrinoid. So this leads to destruction of the tissues. Type 4 hypersensitivity reaction or cell mediated hypersensitivity. The first three hypersensitivity reactions are antibody mediated, and the fourth is cell mediated. The first three are immediate hypersensitivity, while the fourth is delayed type of hypersensitivity. Tissue reaction takes place, destruction of the parenchymal tissue, perivascular tissue can occur. Chronic active hepatitis, viral exantheme, contact dermatitis, graft rejection are examples of type 4 hypersensitivity reaction. Various intercellular fungi, intercellular bacteria, intracellular parasites, contact antigens, intercellular viruses can lead to type 4 hypersensitivity reactions. In this figure, an antigen presenting cell, macrophage or Langerhans cell, is shown. This is the sensitization phase. In the sensitization phase, the APC is presenting the antigen to the helper T cell. The helper T cell forms, it gets activated, and it activates the CD8 cell also, and it may form memory cells also. This happens in the sensitization phase. And in the effector phase, the helper T cell will subsequently send activation signals to various macrophages. It will produce cytokines, chemokines, and macrophage activation will take place. Increased class II MHC molecules, tumor necrosis factor, oxygen radicals, and nitric oxide will increase. And such activated macrophages will gather at the site where the antigen has appeared, and granuloma formation will take place. Multinucleated giant cells will appear, epithelioid cells will be found, T helper cells will be there, activated macrophages will be there at the site where this intercellular bacteria or virus is present. So these are various cells that gather at the site. So this is called cell mediated hypersensitivity reaction. Here in the blood vessel, the antigen is there, and the antigen is surrounded by various cells of the immune system, lymphocytes, macrophages, fibroblasts, epithelioid cells, giant cells. And these all will form granuloma at the site, and this kind of reaction is called type 4 hypersensitivity reaction or cell mediated hypersensitivity reaction. And that completes hypersensitivity. Thank you.